Before this video ends, something inside you is going to shift. I promise you that. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Speak English Daily. I'm Emma, and today I'm not going to teach you grammar. I'm not going to give you a vocabulary list. I'm going to give you something far more important than that. I'm going to give you a mirror, not a comfortable mirror, not one that makes you look better than you are. A real one. The kind that shows you exactly where you are standing and exactly how far you are from where you want to be. I want you to do one thing right now. Stop everything else. Put your full attention here, because what I am about to say, if you really hear it, could be the conversation that changes the direction of your life. Let me ask you the most honest question you will hear today. Are you living, or are you just passing time? Because there is a huge difference. Living means you are moving, growing, becoming. Passing time means you are warm and breathing, but standing completely still while the world moves around you. You want to speak English with real confidence. You want a life that feels like yours, not just a life you fell into. You want to wake up with purpose instead of dread. You want to look back in 5 years and feel proud, not regret. I know you want these things because you are here. You chose this video. That matters. But wanting is not enough. Watching is not enough. Nodding along is not enough. Today, I am going to walk you through 15 lessons about English, about mindset, about the invisible traps that keep good people stuck for years. By the end, I want you to take one action. Just one. Not tomorrow, today. If this video reaches something real inside you, please share it. Someone in your life needs to hear this too. Now, let us begin. Lesson 1. Your time is not free. Every hour has a price. You are not killing time. Time is killing you. Slowly, quietly, and it does not stop when you are ready. Every hour you spend it on something. You pay with time always. The only question is what you are buying. Are you buying growth, skills, a better version of yourself? Or are you buying comfort, distraction, 15 more minutes of not having to face the things that scare you? Here is the image I want you to carry with you. Imagine a sand glass. One of those old hourglasses where the sand falls grain by grain. The sand is your life. It falls whether you are watching or not. It falls while you scroll. It falls while you sleep past your alarm. It falls while you say, tomorrow. You cannot turn the glass upside down. You cannot refill it. Every grain that falls is gone. Now think about yesterday. Not today, yesterday. Can you remember it clearly? What did you actually do with those 24 hours? What did you build? What did you learn? What moved forward in your life? For most people, yesterday is already a blur. It passed and left nothing behind. Just another day that happened to them instead of a day they happened to. Here is an exercise that will take you 3 minutes, but could change your entire week. Open your phone notes right now. Write down the 3 most important things in your life, the things you say you care about. Your English, your career, your health, your dream. Then write honestly next to each one, how many real hours did I give this last week? Most people will find a shocking gap between what they say matters and what they actually give their time to. That gap is not just a schedule problem. That gap is where your dreams are dying, quietly, slowly, every single day. Money can come back. Opportunities sometimes come back. Time never does. Start treating your hours like they are made of gold, because they are worth more than gold. And the day you truly believe that is the day your life begins to change. Lesson 2. Excuses are just fear in a suit. Your excuses sound smart. They sound responsible. But underneath every single one of them is one thing: fear wearing a disguise. We all make excuses. I make them. You make them. But most people never stop long enough to notice the difference between a real reason and an excuse dressed up to look like one. A real reason is a wall. An excuse is a curtain. It looks like a wall, but you can walk right through it if you choose to. Let me hold some of your excuses up to the light. My English is not good enough to start speaking with real people yet. Think about this carefully. How does any person on earth become fluent? By speaking. Badly at first, slowly at first, with mistakes at first. The English will never be good enough to start, because starting is exactly how it gets good enough. You are waiting for a door that only opens from the inside. I'll start when I have more time. Where's that time coming from? An extra day is not appearing next month. The people who say they are waiting for time are still saying the same thing 5 years later. Time is not found. It is chosen. I'm too tired after work to study. Yes, you are tired. That is real. But here is what is also real. The tiredness gets deeper every year you do not grow. Stagnation is exhausting in a way that is much harder to recover from than the tiredness of effort. I am not saying your life is easy. I know it is not. But I am asking you to ask yourself this one honest question. Is this thing actually stopping me? Or am I using it as permission to not try? Because trying means risking failure, and failure hurts. Excuses protect you from that hurt at the price of your entire future. The people who build extraordinary lives are not people with fewer problems. They are people who looked at their problems and said, I will not let this be the reason I stay small. That decision, that exact one, is available to you right now. Lesson 3. Your comfort zone is a beautiful cage. It feels safe, it feels warm, it feels like rest. But if you look closely at the bars, you will see they are real. Imagine a bird that was born in a cage, fed every day, warm every night, safe from every storm. That bird does not know what flying feels like. It has never had to find its own food, navigate its own sky, discover what its wings can really do. From the outside, that bird looks comfortable. But from the inside, does it feel alive? That is what the comfort zone is. It is a cage with an open door. You can leave anytime, but most people never do, because the outside looks scary and the inside feels safe enough. Here is the brutal truth about comfort zones. There is no real growth inside them. Zero. Your English does not improve when you only speak to people who already understand you. Your confidence does not grow when you only do things you already know you can do. Your life does not expand when you never go anywhere you have not already been. And here is something that most people miss. The comfort zone is not actually comfortable, not deep down. Underneath the surface ease, there is always a quiet anxiety, a low hum of dissatisfaction, a voice saying, "This is not everything you are capable of." That voice is right. Real comfort, the deep kind, the kind that lets you sleep well and wake up with peace, comes from knowing you are growing. It comes from looking back and seeing you were braver last month than you were the month before. So, how do you start? Not by jumping, by stepping. If speaking English to strangers feels impossible, start with yourself. Speak English to yourself for 5 minutes every morning. Your thoughts out loud in English. No audience, no judgment. Just you and the language every morning. When that feels normal, take the next step. Leave a comment in English. Join a conversation group online. Make one phone call in English. Every step expands the cage until one day you realize there is no cage anymore. There is just the sky. Lesson 4. Later is the most expensive word you will ever say. You have said this word 1,000 times, and every single time it cost you something you cannot get back. Later. It is such a small word, 4 letters. But those 4 letters have stolen more dreams from more people than failure ever has. Because failure at least means you tried. Later means you never even started. Think about this image. Imagine your dream as a fire, a real flame burning inside your chest. When you say later, you don't put the fire out all at once. You just let it get a little smaller, a little colder. And you say later again, and it gets smaller again, until one day, you look inside your chest and the fire is not there anymore. And you cannot even remember exactly when it went out. That is what later does. It does not kill your dreams with one blow. It lets them fade until you forget you have them. Let me ask you something that requires real honesty. Think of one thing you said you would start 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. Something you kept saying later to. Are you doing it now? Or did later become never, so quietly you barely noticed? Here is what I know about the human brain. The longer you wait to begin something, the harder the beginning becomes. Your mind builds a story around the waiting. I've left it too long now. Everyone else is so far ahead. It's probably too late. That story becomes a wall between you and the action, and the wall gets higher every single day you wait. But the exact moment you start, the wall disappears. Not because the task became easier, but because you are no longer the person standing outside looking at the wall. You are the person who walked through. Here is your tool, the 10-minute rule. Every time you feel the pull toward later, make yourself a deal. Just 10 minutes. That is all you owe yourself. 10 minutes of English practice, 10 minutes of writing, 10 minutes of doing the thing. Because 10 minutes almost always becomes more. The hardest part of any task is the first 30 seconds. After that, your brain adjusts. The resistance drops. You find yourself doing the thing you kept putting off and wondering why you waited so long. Right after this video, do not let it be just another video you watched and forgot. Do 10 minutes of something that matters right now, today, while the fire is still warm. Lesson 5. Overthinking is just fear that learned to use long words. You think you are being careful. You think you are being smart. But you have been thinking about it for 6 months and nothing has moved. Overthinking feels productive. It feels like preparation. Your brain tells you, I am not ready yet. I need to understand more. I need the perfect plan. I need better conditions. But here is what is actually happening. Your brain is afraid, and fear is very clever. It dresses itself up as logic, so you don't recognize it. Think about someone learning to swim. They read every book about swimming. They watch hundreds of videos. They understand water density and breathing technique and stroke form. They buy the best swimsuit. They stand at the edge of the pool, and they never jump in. Do they know how to swim? No, because swimming lives in the water, not in the books, not in the videos, not in the perfect plan sitting in their notebook. Your English fluency lives in the speaking, not in the watching, not in the planning, not in the "I'll start when I feel more ready." Here's the thing about readiness. It is not a feeling that comes before action. It is a feeling that comes because of action. You do not feel ready and then start. You start, and then slowly, messily, imperfectly, you begin to feel ready. I see this pattern so often with English learners. They consume hours of content every week. They know grammar rules. They understand vocabulary, but they have not spoken English with another person in months, maybe years, because they do not feel ready yet. The readiness will never arrive in silence. It arrives in the moment you open your mouth and speak, even badly. It arrives in the moment you write, even with errors. It arrives in the doing. So here is your new rule. Think for 10 minutes, then act for 10 hours. After 10 minutes of planning, stop planning. Start doing. Let the action teach you what the thinking never could. Lesson 6. The person you are becoming is watching how you spend today. 1 year from now, you will wish you had started today. The question is, will you be right? I want you to close your eyes for a moment, or just let your mind go somewhere quiet, and I want you to imagine something specific. It is exactly 12 months from today. 1 year. You wake up in the morning and you look at your life. What do you see? Do you see someone who speaks English with confidence, who does not freeze when a foreign colleague asks a question, who does not feel that cold shame when they make a grammar mistake in public? Do you see someone who built something they are proud of? Someone who grew? Or do you see the same exact life you are living right now? The same frustrations, the same limitations, the same quiet feeling that things should be different, but somehow never are. Both of those futures are possible. They are both real, and the difference between them is not luck. It is not talent. It is not circumstances. It is what you do with today. Every single day you live, you are either building toward that better version of yourself or drifting away from it. There is no neutral gear. Doing nothing is not resting. It is moving backward while everything else moves forward. So let me give you something practical. After this video, today, not this week, today, I want you to write down 3 to 5 clear, specific things you want to be true about your life 1 year from now. I want to hold a 10-minute conversation in English without stopping to search for words. I want to read an English book and follow the story without a dictionary. I want to apply for a job in English and feel ready for the interview. Write them down. Look at them every morning. Let them be the compass that tells you whether today's actions are pointing in the right direction. Because here is the truth. Vague wishes stay wishes. Clear goals become plans. Plans become days. Days become the life you actually live. The person you want to become is waiting. They are not impatient, but they are watching. And every day you choose to grow, they get a little closer. Lesson 7. Comparison is drinking poison and wondering why you feel sick. You opened an app for 2 minutes and already feel like your life is not enough. That is not an accident. That is a trap, and you walk into it every day. Comparison is one of the oldest human instincts. We look at each other. We measure. It is how we learned where we stood in the group, back when groups were small and everyone could see everything. But today, you do not see a small group. You see millions of people. Specifically, you see the best moments of millions of people. The highlight, the success, the perfect photo, the confident English, the impressive achievement, all of it curated, filtered, chosen to show the absolute best. And your brain, your ancient comparison wire brain, takes that highlight reel and compares it to your behind the scenes. Your messy mornings, your slow progress, your mistakes nobody sees, your private doubts. No wonder you feel like you are losing. You're not playing a fair game. Here is an image I want you to hold. Imagine two flowers, a sunflower and a rose. The sunflower looks at the rose and says, "Why am I not that color? Why am I not that shape? Why is everyone taking photos of the rose and not me?" The sunflower spends so much energy on this question that it forgets to grow, forgets to turn toward the sun, forgets that it is exactly what it is supposed to be. You are doing this with your English. You see someone speaking fluently online and you think, "Why can I not do that? What's wrong with me?" And in that moment of comparison, you forget that you are growing. You forget how far you have already come. You forget that their journey and your journey are completely different paths. The only comparison that tells you anything true is this: am I better than I was last month? Not better than someone else, better than yesterday's version of you. That comparison is honest. That comparison motivates without destroying. That comparison puts you in a race you can actually win, because you are the only one running it. So, starting today, unfollow the accounts that make you feel small. Follow the people who make you want to grow. And every week, ask yourself one question: what did I learn this week that I did not know last week? Your race, your pace, your growth, that is all that matters. Lesson 8. Discipline is not a prison. It is the chi. You think motivated people are different from you. They are not. They just stopped waiting to feel like it. Let me tell you what discipline actually is, because most people have it completely wrong. Discipline is not punishment. It is not suffering. It is not waking up at 4 in the morning and hating your life. Discipline is simply this: doing what matters even when you do not feel like it. That is all it is. And here is the thing that changes everything when you understand it. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings come and go. Feelings are unreliable. They are affected by weather, by sleep, by what someone said to you this morning, by whether you are hungry. If you wait for motivation, you will spend most of your life waiting. But discipline is a decision. A decision is not affected by your mood. You make it once, and then you show up. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Imagine two English learners. The first one studies when they feel motivated. Some days they study for 2 hours because the energy is there. Some days they skip completely because they are tired or distracted. Their progress looks like a wave, up, down, up, down. The second one studies for 30 minutes every morning, not because they always feel like it, because they decided to. Some mornings it is hard. Some mornings the 30 minutes feels like 3 hours. But they show up every morning. After 1 year, who speaks better English? The second learner, every time. Not because they are smarter, because they chose consistency over comfort, again and again and again. And here is the beautiful paradox of discipline. The more you build it, the freer you become. The person who is disciplined about their English practice is free to speak confidently in any situation. The person who only practices when they feel like it is trapped, always slightly behind, always slightly afraid. Discipline builds freedom. Remember that. Start with one small thing. So small you cannot say no to it. 5 minutes of English every morning. 10 vocabulary words before you sleep. 1 spoken sentence recorded on your phone. Do it for 30 days without breaking the chain. At the end of 30 days, you will not just have better English. You will have a different relationship with yourself. You will know deeply in your bones that you are someone who follows through. And that knowledge changes everything. Lesson 9. Your environment is quietly writing your future without asking your permission. You think you are making your own choices, but right now, your environment is making most of them for you. Here's a question nobody asks enough. What is the first thing you do every morning? For most people, the answer is reach for their phone. Not because they consciously chose that, but because the phone is on the nightstand. It is right there. The environment decided. This is how environment works. It does not force you into anything. It just makes certain things easy and certain things hard. And humans almost always do the easy thing. If junk food is in your kitchen, you will eat it. Not because you are weak, but because it is there. If your phone is in the bedroom, you will look at it before sleeping. Not because you chose to, but because it is within reach. If English is never around you, you will rarely use it. Not because you do not care, but because the environment never demands it. So, the question becomes, what does your environment demand of you right now? If you want to improve your English, your environment needs to start asking more of you. Every day. Automatically. Here is how to do it simply. Put English into the places you already go. Set a podcast as your morning alarm. The first sounds you hear each day are English. Change your phone's language to English. Every time you check the time, you read English. Follow creators who speak English naturally in your social media feeds. When you scroll, you absorb the language without trying. Keep a vocabulary notebook visible on your desk. Not hidden, visible. None of these are hard. None of them take willpower. But each one is quietly, consistently, automatically pushing you toward the language. Design your environment to work for you instead of against you, because the environment that surrounds you today is building the person you will be tomorrow, whether you designed it or not. Lesson 10. Your mistakes are not your failures. They are your teachers. The moment you made a grammar mistake in public and felt that heat rise in your face, that was not failure. That was a lesson arriving. Did you stay to hear it? I want to talk about something that is silently destroying the progress of English learners all over the world. The fear of making mistakes. This fear is so common, so deeply rooted, that most people do not even recognize it as fear. They just know they feel uncomfortable speaking English in public. They just know they prefer to say nothing rather than risk saying something wrong. They just know that their heart beats faster and their mouth gets dry when they have to speak English in front of other people. That is fear, and it is the single biggest wall between you and fluency. Here is the image I want you to see. Think about a baby learning to walk. That baby falls again and again. Sometimes they hit the floor hard. They look confused. They look surprised. Sometimes they cry. But do they stop? No. They get up. They try again. They fall again. They get up again. And one day, they are running. Nobody looks at a baby falling and says, "This child is a failure at walking." Everyone understands this child is learning to walk. You are learning to speak. The falls are part of it. The grammar mistakes, the wrong words, the moments when the sentence comes out completely backwards. These are not signs that you are failing. They are signs that you are trying. And trying is the only path that leads anywhere. Here is what the research on language learning tells us clearly. The learners who reach fluency fastest are not the ones who make the fewest mistakes. They're the ones who are willing to make the most mistakes and keep going anyway. Because every mistake is the brain noticing a gap and filing the correction. You learn from errors in a way you simply cannot learn from silence. So, I want to give you a new relationship with your mistakes. When you say she go instead of she goes, do not stop, apologize, and shriek. Just correct it naturally and continue. She goes to work every day. Move on, keep the energy moving. The goal is not perfect English. The goal is real, living, breathing communication. And that is built mistake by mistake, attempt by attempt, conversation by conversation. Speak, fall, get up. Speak again. This is the path. Lesson 11. You become the average of the voices you let in. The 5 people closest to you are quietly shaping what you believe is possible. Are they making your ceiling higher or lower? Think about the 5 people whose voices you hear most often. Not just physically, the people online, the creators you follow, the conversations you are part of, the 5 voices that fill your days. Now ask this honestly. Do those voices make you feel like growth is possible? Do they celebrate your effort? Do they talk about ideas and learning and becoming better? Or do they talk mostly about problems, complaints, and reasons why things cannot change? Here is something that is deeply scientifically true about human beings. We are social creatures at the level of biology. Our brains are wired to absorb the beliefs, the habits, and the emotional patterns of the people around us. We catch attitudes like we catch colds without noticing, just by being close. If the people around you treat average as enough, average will start to feel like the ceiling. If the people around you are always growing, always trying, always pushing, that energy becomes contagious. Normal starts to mean something different. This is why I talk about community so often on this channel. Not because I want you to abandon the people you love. Family is family. But I want you to be intentional about the voices you add to your life, especially the voices around your learning. Find people who are also working on their English. Practice together, fail together, celebrate together. When you are surrounded by people who treat English improvement as normal, expected, worth the effort, your own commitment deepens without you even forcing it. And on social media, be deliberate. The accounts you follow are voices in your life. Make sure they are voices worth having. You are becoming the average of what surrounds you. Surround yourself with growth. Lesson 12. Small and everyday will always beat big and sometimes. You studied for 5 hours last Sunday and felt amazing. You have not studied since. Which learner do you think is winning? Consistency. This single word separates the people who build real fluency from the people who are always working on their English but never seem to get there. Here's the truth about how your brain builds language. It needs repetition over time, not one massive session. Repetition over time. Think of it like building a wall. Every day you practice, you place one brick. The wall grows slowly, surely. But if you disappear for 2 weeks and then come back and place 20 bricks in one day, you look at the wall and it seems like progress. But in those 2 weeks of absence, some of the older bricks have loosened. The mortar cracked. The foundation weakened. 30 minutes every day builds a stronger wall than 5 hours every Sunday. The daily learner builds something solid. The weekend learner builds something that keeps needing to be rebuilt. And here is the part that nobody tells you. Consistency is actually easier to maintain than intensity. Because intensity requires you to feel motivated, energized, and ready. Consistency just requires you to show up. Even when you are tired, even when life is messy, even when you feel like the progress is invisible, you show up. You do the 30 minutes. You place the brick. The days when you do not feel like it, those days are the most important, because on those days, choosing to show up anyway is what builds the habit. The habit is what carries you forward long after motivation has disappeared. So here's what I want you to do today. Choose one English habit. One, small enough that you truly cannot say you are too busy for it. 20 minutes of listening, 10 vocabulary words, 5 minutes of speaking practice, 1 English journal entry. One thing. Every day, for 30 days, do not break the chain. At the end of those 30 days, come back and tell me if your English does not feel different. Come back and tell me if you do not feel different. Lesson 13. The voice in your head is not always honest. Stop letting it lead. It tells you that you are not good enough. It has been telling you this for years, and you have believed it. But did you ever stop to ask, is it actually true? We all have an inner voice, a narrator, the one that runs a constant commentary on everything we do, every risk we take, every time we try something new. For many people learning English, that voice sounds like this. Your accent is embarrassing. You made a grammar mistake and everyone noticed. You are not smart enough to be fluent. You will always struggle with this. And here is the danger. Most people treat that voice as the truth. They treat it like a wise, reliable reporter of who they are and what they can do. But that voice is not reporting reality. It is reporting your fears. And your fears are shaped by your worst moments, not your full capacity. Imagine a judge who has only seen your worst day, only the times you were exhausted, scared, or unprepared. They make their judgment based on those moments alone. Would you call that judge fair? Would you let that judgment define your entire future? That is what your inner critic does. It has a very selective memory. Here is the truth. You cannot silence that voice by fighting it. The louder you fight, the louder it gets. But you can train it slowly, patiently, the same way you train your English, by consistently replacing what it says with something more accurate. When it says, I can't do this, you say quietly, I am still learning. And people who are still learning are people who are growing. When it says, my English is too bad, you say, every single person who speaks well today was once where I am now. When it says, I will embarrass myself, you say, I am brave enough to try. Most people never even get this far. This is not pretending. Every one of those responses is true. Practice them the same way you practice vocabulary, with repetition, every day, until the new voice becomes louder than the old one. The day your inner voice becomes your supporter instead of your critic is the day everything in your learning and your life begins to accelerate. Lesson 14. Learning English is training you for something much bigger than English. Every morning you choose to study when you do not feel like it, you are not just building English. You are building the person who finishes what they start. I want to tell you something that might change how you see this entire journey. Learning a language is one of the hardest things a human brain can do. It takes years. It is full of plateaus, long stretches where you feel like you are working hard and going nowhere. It requires you to be a beginner, again and again, in front of other people. It asks you to fail publicly, to sound awkward, to be misunderstood, and to continue anyway. It is, in many ways, one of the best possible tests of human character. And here is the extraordinary thing. The qualities you build while doing this hard thing, they do not stay in the English box. They leak into everything else you do. The discipline you build by studying every day, even when you're tired, that discipline shows up when you need to stay consistent with your health, your work, your personal goals. The courage you build by speaking English in uncomfortable situations, raising your hand in a meeting, answering a question in front of people, making a call you are afraid to make, that courage shows up in every other area where you need to be brave. The patience you build by trusting slow, invisible progress, that patience helps you stay in any long games that matters. Career, relationships, any goal worth having. You are not just learning English. You are becoming someone who does hard things and does not quit. And that person, the one who shows up, persists, and grows, that person can do almost anything they decide to do. So, when the learning feels slow, when the progress feels invisible, when you want to stop, remember what is actually happening. You are not just building a language skill, you are building yourself. And that version of you is worth every difficult morning. Lesson 15. It is not too late. I need you to hear that. You think you missed your window. You think others started earlier and the gap is too wide. I need to tell you with everything I have, you are wrong. I know this fear, the fear that too much time has passed, that other people got an earlier start, that the door you were supposed to walk through has already closed. I want to look at you through this screen as directly as I can and say, that is not true. That is fear talking in its most convincing voice. And it is lying to you. There is no expiration date on growth. There is no age at which the brain stops being capable of learning. There is no point of no return when it comes to becoming better. Think about this image. Imagine two people standing at the bottom of a mountain. One of them has been climbing for 2 years. One of them is starting today. Is the person starting today too late to climb the mountain? No, they are just starting later. And starting later still means starting. And starting, even late, is infinitely better than never starting at all. Here is what is true. Every day you wait, you are choosing to begin later. Not too late, later. And later means less time on the mountain, less time at the top, less time enjoying the view. So why wait one more day? You do not need Monday. You do not need the new year. You do not need a cleaner schedule, a better mood, or a sign from the universe. You need this moment, which is the only moment you have ever actually had. If this video reached something inside you, if some part of you felt more awake, more ready, more like the person you know you are supposed to be, listen to that part. That part is telling you the truth. Your future self, the one who speaks English with confidence, who built something they are proud of, who looks back at this moment as the turning point, that person is not a fantasy. They are you. 1 year from now, if you choose to begin today. 1 year, 12 months, 365 mornings. It starts with today. We made it. 15 lessons, 1 honest conversation. And if you stayed here until the end, I want you to know something. That matters. Most people will not stay. Most people will click away when it gets uncomfortable. You stayed. That says something about who you are. Now I want to ask you for one thing. Not a subscription, not a like, though those help us keep making these videos. I want you to take one action, today, in the next hour. Something that moves you toward the life and the English you want. Not a plan, an action. Because here's the last truth I will leave you with. You can watch 1,000 videos about swimming. You can study every technique, memorize every stroke, understand every principle. But if you never get in the water, you will never swim. Get in the water today. Your future is not waiting for you to be ready. It is waiting for you to begin. Let me say one more thing before I go. Maybe you are watching this right now and your life feels heavy. Maybe it is not just your English. Maybe everything feels difficult. Your money is tight. Your energy is low. Your confidence is somewhere you cannot find it right now. Maybe you are tired in a way that sleep does not fix. I see you, and I want to say this as your friend, as someone who genuinely cares about the people who watch this channel. It is okay to be where you are. It is okay that it is hard. It does not mean you are failing. It means you are human, and life is not easy, and you are still here, still watching, still trying, still looking for a way forward. That is not weakness. That is one of the bravest things a person can do. The hard seasons do not last forever. The stuck feeling is not permanent. The distance between where you are and where you want to be is real, but it is crossable. One day, one lesson, one brave choice at a time. Your story is not finished, not even close. I am Emma. This is Speak English Daily. Keep showing up. Keep growing. I believe in you.